Hey, hello again, Roll YouTube. This is probably about the most narcissistic video you'll ever see, and that's fine. I'm fine with it. You can watch it if you want. You can turn it off now. I don't really give a shit. But basically, this is just like me going over a dream I had last night of all things. And yeah, I know it's funny about dreams. It's like the ones you have are so significant and important to you, but other people's dreams are as boring as hell. And I'm a firm believer though that people that don't dream are people who are truly unhappy. And there was a time when in my life where I just went months without having a single dream, and they're really significant and important to me. And I think that this dream is really cool. And I guess maybe the person that I'm really cataloging for this for is myself, so I can sit there narcissistically and look at myself talking about my own dream. But I digress. Anyways, this dream was weird, and I am a weird dreamer. I dream in full-length feature films, and I swear on a stack of Bibles, that's God's honest truth. I dream that vividly, and I'm not talking about just you know, like a soundbite of a movie story. I mean, I develop characters in my dreams. I thoroughly go through everything, and it's kind of ridiculous even, and this is kind of funny. I think this is just amusing that I want to get out there before I even get into it though. Actually, if I was a big titted girl, this video would probably have 500,000 clips. Voice crack, how pathetic is that? Anyways, this would have 500,000 views or whatever within the first hour of it being out. But I'm not a pretty girl. I'm a goofy looking guy. But anyways, I digress again. My dream was this. Basically, I had this really weird dream where I was on the outskirt rural area of New Jersey and stuff, and that I was taking a flight out there, and that our plane was emergency landed or whatever, and we couldn't figure out why, and basically from people's talking their cell phone and stuff, they found out that there was a flu that was basically going around that had a 99% fatality rate. And this is insane how long and vivid this dream was. But anyways, so we went to this little camp area or whatever, and the only reason we went to a farm basically, and the farm was owned by someone, and the person who owned the farm was very upset that he was being forced to harbor these people, and it was unconstitutional, and he was a good old boy practically that was not happy with it at all. And I remember my character, my person that I was in this dream, that I recognized that this person was probably going to be the only person to live because he had a shed that he was locking down and keeping clean and all that. So I befriended him, and at the same time, it was kind of funny what the dream was digressed about though. Was about how everybody in the camp was ignorant and making jokes and stuff about their situation and being outraged, and there were small children being unable to care for themselves. While at the same time, I recognized that the person who owned this shed or whatever, that he was barricading from the people who were on his property, that he knew what he was doing. So I befriended him almost intentionally and said, "Hey, look, I have a value to give to you, and when things come this way, I can go ahead and help you out when things get bad." And that's kind of where let me make sure that I get this all out of my brain and put it into words. Basically, what it was about though, and the character conflict that I had between myself and this person, was that we recognized an impending danger, and that the people around us didn't recognize it, and that they were taking it jokingly and all that. And so I said, "Look, man, when things get bad, you're not going to be able to fend off everyone by yourself. And when people are trying to go ahead and find shelter inside your little shed inside of this big property." So I befriended him that way, and I convinced him. And I guess my character was a medical scientist of some sort, or somebody with medical background basically, because I had a very extensive knowledge of I want to say germology. I don't even know, man, what the word is for it, but basically he was doing all these various things, and then along the side though I was saying, "Hey, you need to do this, you need to do that." And we were going outside the compounds, and we were walking around and gathering things on this piece of property where everyone was camped out on. We were walking around with a paint mask on, and we were using filters and stuff, so we weren't having to breathe on people. And when we came back in, we were making sure to have a wash down period, and we were scrubbing ourselves off with alcohol to make sure that everything was killed off. And it was, and I know this is so weird, but it was so vivid, and it was almost like a zombie movie, to be frank though. And that people were mocking us too, is the big thing, is that while the entire state of New Jersey was dying off from this horrible flu, the people were mocking us at the same time, that we were wearing these masks, these paint masks or whatever, to help prevent breathing in germs. And at one point in my dream, this guy came up to me and was like, "Ha, you're trying to pull my mask off." And it was actually like a confrontational part of this little dream that was like this movie in my head or whatever. And I remember having this big confrontation though, and this guy tried to pull my mask off, laughing about it, and trying to put it on himself. And I got really angry, and I struck him in the face and like broke his nose. And everyone was outraged at the way that I acted out. And then like basically the dream was about how people just refused to accept the seriousness of their situation, and that they were mocking me for taking the appropriate precautions and like making a joke of it, right? And then at the same time going, whoa, you're going too far by punching this guy. And I'm like, no, like him taking off his mask, my mask or whatever, is the same degree of holding a gun to me, and punching him in the face was an appropriate reaction to it. But as this little dream of mine went on, though, it was like we started figuring out how to barricade and things, and it was kind of funny. It was like it was me and this guy predicting this impending like confrontation with the rest of this group of people that was staying on his property, and that like we started like picking people who were appropriate to go ahead and bring into the shed, and we wanted to make sure that we would grab people that wouldn't be, you know, putting us at a liability and all that. So we let a couple people in. I think it was like 4 people that we let in ultimately, and like I remember that like we only let in people that we didn't think would end up going, no, they're hurting out there, we need to let them in and stuff like that. And we made sure to get people that would be cold about it. And we ended up gathering materials to barricade the doors, and everyone like became suspicious of us, and it started to turn really bad. And as people started dying more and more, and as like throughout the nation, not the nation, throughout the state, and that they became more and more serious and more suspicious and more erratic in their behavior. And that this group of people that we had though, it started off that we had this little confined property though, you know, like they're sitting on his property because of where they were placed or whatever by the government, or I shouldn't even say government, I guess the military or whatever. I guess government's the right word. And that he's like, no, this is my space. You cannot come into this like shedded area. And it was a big shed too. I should clarify that. It was like a warehouse more like. So we started gathering up things and deciding about like we started practicing routines for like when people were trying to go ahead and get in. And the other thing that was really funny about this dream is that there were no firearms, and the guy that like had the shed didn't believe in firearms, and so that actually became a plot point in my dream of all things later on. Anyways, so things got worse and worse, and like you know, there was even a part where somebody was like trying to come in there like, yeah, whatever, I'm not gonna listen to your rules, and joking about it at the same time, and being like we had to shove them out of the place and all that, and it was like kind of a mess. But he ended up going down the street and found out that their person at the convenience store, because he was going to go get alcohol or whatever so they can keep wiping down everything inside the shed, that they had died out by this like influenza. And so he came back and he came straight to me and told me about it, and I was like, okay, this is it, this is when it's going to start. And we locked everybody out and we like barricaded the walls as best we could. And as things went on, though, we started hearing that people were getting infected, like with this influenza, and they were just dying. Though there wasn't anything significant, and people were freaking out about it, and that things were getting worse, and people started clawing at the door and smashing at the doors and all that stuff that we had barricaded with furniture and all that. And we had an internal conflict with one of the persons that we let in, this woman, and she was like, "No, we need to let them in," and this and that, and like she wouldn't, like we couldn't stop her or whatever, and we basically had to restrain her throughout all of it. And then the movie, like my dream, just got really weird, and it went on for a day like that. And eventually, like it all got quiet really fast, and we decided to sit there and wait it out for a little bit longer. And the woman who was restrained had basically been tied up for like a week and had lost it mentally, whatever, and like beyond the point of screaming, to the point where she was just, you know, not there. And eventually, though, we decided to come out, and the whole confine was dead, and everyone was dead, and there was no military members left, there was no government members left. So we get up and we started migrating down the street, and we came up to a barricade. Basically, there was an abandoned barricade, military barricade, where they were like not letting anybody pass, and we ended up walking past it. And the end of my dream was that like a couple of jets flew over our head, and we looked over in the horizon, and a nuclear bomb was going off. And then basically the fire like had a wall of fire coming over the entire landscape and coming right at us. And the second it came up to my face was the end of like the dream, and I woke up. So that's my really crazy dream. Thanks for watching.